Hey kiddos! Today we're going to make a collage with a shark. And for this activity, you're going to need some glue, a pair of scissors, and some paint. More precisely, you're going to need 2 sheets of paper. One of the sheets of paper is to protect also your workstation, some paintbrushes, a painting palette to mix your paints, and a glass of water to clean off your brushes. Great, so we're going to take our first piece of paper here, and we're going to draw the background of our ocean. Looks good. So we're going to take our dark blue color, and we're going to pretty much paint all over. So let's put them in our paint dispenser, about a peanut size, a little bit more because we're covering the entire surface of our piece of paper with blue. And we're going to take our paintbrush and add a little bit of water. Again, not too much water, you guys, because when there's too much water on the piece of paper, it's going to start curling up. So just enough water to get the paint nice and easily on your brush and for it to really spread like silk on the piece of paper. So take a pinch of water and keep spreading it all through. So again, we want this to be nice and really rich dark blue because our shark lives pretty deep down in the ocean. And so there's not so much light down there. So the blue is going to be pretty dark. It's definitely a little bit darker than the kind of ocean that you and I would swim in. Not that much light down there. So keep getting all of your corners. And if you have a little bit too much water in one piece of your paper, kind of take it and spread it out so the moisture gets spread equally through the entire sheet. Great. You can just hold on the piece of paper with your finger and get any little white spots out there so it's really nice and uniform and blue. All right, looks good. I'm going to wipe my finger because I don't want to dirty the rest of my shark. Awesome. And I'm going to put him to the side so he can dry right on top of my little bucket here. And by the time he's dry, I'll be done with my shark. So let's wipe our hands so we don't dirty the rest of our project. Okay, grabbing my second piece of paper here. What we're going to do is we're going to fold him lengthwise. So I'm taking him, I have my fingers, and I'm running them down the length of my fold on the left-hand side. You can even take your nails and kind of glide them right down. So now I have my piece of paper, and I'm going to draw the outline of the shark so I can cut him out afterwards. So you see, then it folds. So now I'm going to flip it so my fold is on the lower side of the piece of paper. Great. So I'm going to start with the shape of my shark at the very head here. Great. So little teeth for the mouth. So again, you can just zigzag right through. His head, his fin, you make a little triangle, his body, and then his tail. Up, almost towards the end of the paper. And there you go. So you can see that you have his teeth, his head, his fin, his body, another little fin, and then his tail. And I'm just finishing off the mouth here. Looks good. So now we're going to grab our scissors and we're going to start cutting out our shark. So this is probably the most complex part, is the teeth. We're going to get to that towards the end. So here, take your piece of paper, cut right along the side of your fin at the bottom, which is like a triangle. Then take your scissors, make sure you don't hit the end of the page, and maneuver your piece of paper in multiple directions to get the best angle to cut out your little fins. Boom. We're going to pull that piece of paper out. Okay. We're going to cut straight here and around. This is probably the easiest part of the cutting of the shark. Okay. Stop. And then maneuver, and we're going to snip from above. It'll be a lot easier this way. Awesome. So keep snipping down. And when we get to the teeth here, you can see that they're really zigzagged. So this is just like a reference point for you. What you can do is take your scissors and you're going to make tiny little zags with your scissors where we're going to then pull the paper out. So I'm going to cut a little bit one direction and then a little bit the next direction. A little bit towards the left. Whoop, change your scissors. A little bit towards the right. A little bit towards the left. You see, and it's starting to make these little teeth here, which we're then going to, poof, pull out. And those are going to be our teeth. So again, a little bit to the left, switch your scissors a little to the right, so you can make little triangles. And we're going to pull. Yeah, this shark has really, really sharp teeth because, you know, sharks are pretty much the most dangerous animal into the ocean. They eat lots of fish. They've been known to eat humans, really depending on the shark. There's a movie called Jaws where it's pretty scary animal, the shark. They are quite ferocious. No doubt about that. Great. So now we finished our shark. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're eventually then going to glue him on the back where we're going to paste him right on top of our ocean blue. So we're going to do a little light blue for him. Let's pop him up. A little blue right into our paint dispenser. We're going to use our thick brush again, and let's just pat our brush dry using the water cup so that there's really no other colors going on in there. And again, best to keep your workstation nice and clean to not get any other paint on any other parts of the fish. Okay, so we're patting our paintbrush dry, grabbing some light blue, and again, we're going to paint the entire body of our shark. Right there, start to finish, back and forth, nice and thick, lots of blue. So he's really going to pop out of our ocean background because we'll have a little bit of light blue contrasted with the dark blue. The shark really is one of the most ferocious animals out there. Our shark looks pretty mean, doesn't he? Look at those teeth. So keep taking the blue. We're going to just finish his fins right alongside. All right. So now we're going to grab our dark blue background of our ocean and let's position our fish. So the shark, yep, that looks pretty good. Nice and kind of italic. So remember to clean your fingers. And basically now what we can do is take a small brush, add a little bit of water to your small brush, and now we're going to add essentially a little kind of life around our shark. Because our shark is not the only fish in the sea. There's tons of, eco-life. There's jellyfish, there's little fish. So here I'm drawing a tiny little fish. Because our shark is definitely going to get hungry. So here we're going to draw tons of little fish and, essentially create a real context for our shark here. Another little fish next to him. Because, fishes, they usually swim in little schools of fish. Great. So to do the little fish, you can just do a little body and then a triangle at the end to make the tail. So you do a little round, fill it in, and then just add a triangle at the end, which will make his tail. You're even free to add a fin. So here on this side, we can add a plant, like some algae, we can do a little bit of yellow paint. Yellow or green usually, that's the color of algae under the sea. Perfect, so squeeze a little out there. You can grab a new paintbrush, just because we're really not at all in the shades of blues, so it would require quite a bit of cleaning. Dip it into your yellow paint and start zigzagging. You know, underwater plants can be lots of different shapes and sizes. You have coral, which is kind of red. You have big leaves that are kind of massive and green. You have all sorts of different sea plants. And it makes a nice color. So now what we're going to do, we're going to just glue on our shark into our seascape. So let's just pop him over here, take our little glue stick. Shake him out a little. Come on, glue. Okay. And just squirt some all over. Into his little fins as well, on his tail. Looks good. And now we're going to place him on our seascape. Great. And just press him down with your fingers right along the edges of the shark. You really have to make sure your shark is nice and dry before we place him so you don't get any on your fingers. Awesome. Look how fierce he looks. So he'll definitely need an eye because the shark needs to know where he's swimming. So just draw a little circle right on top of his teeth. And now our shark has an eye. So now he looks at those fish at the bottom and he really wants to eat them, doesn't he? I'm also taking a little bit of blue paint, the one that we use for the background, and I'm adding some gills and a little bit of detail to his body because he is quite fierce. And there we go, guys. Looking good. So kiddos, here's our shark collage. It looks awesome and I hope you had a super fun time making it. I would love to see your work. So if you want to send in a picture of your collage to tutokid.com, your parents can help you log on. Hope to see you soon.